We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. The OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival Miami presents its 26th annual lineup featuring Frag, a powerful film reflecting on the corner pub grenade incident.
PEN America's report exposes a surge in U.S. book bans. PEN says these bans frequently zero in on LGBTQ plus books. The number is astounding.
X-Men 97 creator Bo DeMaio unveils episode 5, Remember It, is inspired by real-world tragedies like post-LGBTQ plus shooting, marking a pivotal moment in the series.
Governor DeSantis signs HB 1285, curbing non-parental book challenges aimed at heightened scrutiny of educational materials. It also streamlines charter school takeovers.
Tonight, we explore the importance of LGBTQ plus narratives at Island City Stage, where Andy Rogow leads it with passion and authenticity.
Ooh, I'm excited for today's show. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine's Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company, the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of the LGBTQ plus community. We want to educate and inform key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latinos, lesbians and queer women, trans students, youth, seniors, HIV, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are a part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ plus experience in our television news, talk, and entertainment shows. Support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
That's right, Christopher. Let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. We begin with the diva herself, Bonnie Builder. She is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the current reigning Mixed Marys. A recent graduate of FIU, Bonnie comes alive with a microphone in her hand and is just an incredible human being. I freaking love her. Bonnie, the next HOT Beach Party 15 is coming to the North Shore Beach on April 27th. I understand that the secret location is at the Black Tent. Now everybody knows. Tell me what's happening.
Yo, so my name is Bonnie Builder, and today I'll be telling you about the HOT Beach Party, which is coming up on April 27th at 2 p.m. Now, something special about this beach party right here. Not only will you be hanging out with some fine-ass men on the beach, but they also have a yoga class at this event, which will be held at 3 p.m., and also an exfoliation station. Whatever that means, I'm down for it. I need to get this makeup out my pores. So go to houseoftrouble.org for more information.
You had me at exfoliate, girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next up, let's welcome Christopher Frentzel. Christopher's the director of one of the standout films at this year's OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival's Miami edition. The film is Frag. He's also known for co-directing Diaper Dolls, starring Candace Cain. Christopher, I'm so happy to have you at the table. So the OUTshine Film Festival South Florida Filmmaker Showcase at Cinema and Cocktails will be at Silver Spot Cinema April 22nd. Tell me what's happening.
So yeah, I'm just really excited to have my short film at this amazing, highly recognized, established queer film festival that's been running for so long now. I've always wanted to be a part of it, and I'm honored to have Frag presented with a load of other amazing short films. And we're going to have a program the entire week of incredible films. And if you happen to miss it, it will be streaming from April 29th onward to May 5th digitally.
Perfect. Go to outshinefilm.com for all the information. Next up, let's welcome Christopher Mitchell. Hi, cutie. How you doing, puppy? Good to see you. I missed you.
You too.
He's a Chicago native and Barry University alumni. He now serves the LGBTQ plus community at Prideline, which I love. He is the community outreach and engagement liaison. He appears on the Fox show We Are Family also, so make sure you DVR that and watch that, and then just get up close to the screen and kiss Christopher like that. Welcome, Christopher. Christopher, so Pridelines is part of the new version of the Smart Ride and the new announcement of the Joy Ride. The 165-mile ride will be November 22nd through 23rd. Tell me what's happening.
Child, that is what's happening. So the Joy Ride, we are back. We are brand new. We're coming back with a new name. And it's so cool to like be a part of the history of a new name and like being a part. So Pridelines is super happy. And we are looking for y'all to come join this ride with us. Like we are raising money. So we really, really want like bike teams and people who are interested and want to start practicing now. Talk to Pridelines, hit us up so that way we can get you the equipment you need or help you on your way, get you to training so we can raise that money. So yes, Joy Ride, the new name.
The
Joy
new name,
Ride.
the Joy Ride, baby. Time to get some joy on a bike.
Come on.
That's what's up.
165 miles.
Woo, that's a lot of joy, Chris. That's a lot of joy on my butt, but I'm living for it.
Right? Period.
Next up, let's welcome Andy Rogow. He's the founder and artistic director of Island City Stage. In addition to his award-winning productions at Island City, he also directed the one-man comedy My Mother's Italian, My Father's Jewish, and I'm in Therapy, which has toured all around the country, including several stints at both the Broward Center and the Kravis Center. Under his leadership, Island City Stage has garnered numerous Carbonell and Silver Palm Awards, as well as the Best of from SFGN and Out South Florida. Andy, so Island City Stage is going to be presenting a lesbian theme. Thank you.
Welcome.
Lesbian theme play with music titled Pulp through May 5th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, it's based on the lesbian pulp fiction of the 1950s. It takes place in a lesbian nightclub in Chicago in 1956. It's sultry, it's sexy, it's very noir. You know, if you like the films of Barbara Stanwyck and Tallulah Bankhead, you know, kind of imagine them in bed together with some songs playing in the background. This show is for you.
Oh, I love this, Andy. And I'm thinking 50s, fashion, like music, sexy, you know,
It's very nightclub cabaret type music. And Nicole Stoddard, who directed, she did the costumes. They're all very vintage. It's really a stylish show. I think people are going to love it. Men and women, the lesbians and the gays will all love it.
For sure. So it's going to be at Island City through May 5th. But actually this Friday, I'm going to be the guest host for Pulp. So I'm super excited about that. So come on out, get your tickets, and we're going to have a blast.
That's right. And speaking of sexy vintage lesbians, we have tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She's a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays. Faye, it's time for the annual Run for the Roses, and there's going to be a Kentucky Derby party as part of the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival at Savor on May 4th. Tell me, what's happening?
Well, you know that I love me a theme, guys, right? So, and a reason to put on a big poofy hat, I am in. So put on your Derby best for a celebration of the 150th Kentucky Derby on Sunday, May 4th at Savor Cinema. Fliff and Steve Savor host a fun-filled Derby day with live entertainment, a barbecue buffet, and open bar with a whole bunch of fun. The race will be projected on the theater's 30-foot high definition screen. Prizes will be awarded for the most creative Derby hats, bonnets, and outfits. And there is also a 50-50 raffle where guests can pick the horses they think will win. Okay? Place or show. So doors open at 4 p.m. Free parking across the street. Tickets and information at fliff.com/events/Derby party. I can't wait, and I will see you there.
What are you wearing?
Something big and poofy, for sure.
Have you designed your bonnet?
You need to.
No, I have gay boys that do that for me, Andy. Thank you.
Same.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. First this evening, let's begin by queering up South Florida and Florida. OUTshine film Christopher Frentzel's Frag is about Wilton Manors bar grenade incident. The OUTshine LGBTQ plus film festival Miami, renowned as one of the largest LGBTQ plus cultural festivals globally, is all set to celebrate its 26th annual Miami film lineup. Running from April 18th through 28th, the festival will feature over 50 international films, features, and shorts, including premieres and documentaries. One of the standouts this year is Frag. It will be screened under the Cocktails in Cinema South Florida Filmmakers Program alongside other important films like Double Life, Myrna Secret Spies, Open Dialogue Generation Queer Z, and El Reggaetonero. Frag is directed by Christopher Frentzel, who is also known for co-directing Diaper Doll with Candace Cain that we loved here at Queer News Tonight. Frag is an important film for Wilton Manors and South Florida, as it is based on a true event from August 2022 when a man brought a grenade into the corner pub of Wilton Manors, turning a regular night into chaos. Amidst the present political environment in this country, especially in Florida, where anti-LGBTQ plus hatred is quite evident, the importance of this incredible film certainly increases. Screening on April 22nd at Silver Spot Cinemas, Miami, the film stars Manny Simone, Wayne Kinney, and Daniel Mark. Frentzel also has his first feature now playing on Amazon Prime called Somebody to Love. And what thrills us the most is having Frentzel with us today at the table as one of the anchors of Queer News Tonight to discuss the film's creation, its selection for the OUTshine LGBTQ plus Film Festival Miami, and the significance behind its title, Frag, a wordplay on frag grenade and a poignant commentary on anti-gay slurs. Welcome, Christopher Frentzel. We're so happy to have you, darling.
I'm so happy
and
to
you're
be
adorable. You're super cute. I know all the boys are getting real close to the screen right now. Christopher, tell me why Frag? Why did you name this film Frag?
Well, I kind of, like you said, wanted to do a little wordplay on frag grenade and also a wordplay with the slur that's commonly used against gay men that starts with F. And it's basically frag without the R. But yeah, I just wanted to tell a story that was very impactful and it was local. And at the time, my boyfriend lived like 5 minutes down the road from it. And it was just very haunting to hear about it. So I reached out to the bartender and a patron that was involved in the incident and interacted with the gentleman. And I interviewed them, I wrote down the story, and I kind of sat on it for a little bit, and then I decided, yeah, it's time to make this. So I wrote it, produced it, directed it, and I'm so proud to have it at OUTshine. It's a festival that I've always wanted to be a part of. I never got to put my feature film there just because of the release date and the deadlines.
Of course.
Exactly. So I'm just happy that I'm able to participate this time around.
Yes, well, I've spoken to Steve and Joe and Alexis over there, and they are so excited to have you as part of the film festival. How did you feel when you got that call saying, "Hey, Christopher, your film is going to be part of the OUTshine Film Festival this year"?
I really couldn't believe it, honestly, because
Stop scamming me.
Honestly, because filmmaking is such a struggle, like putting all these resources together, and especially in South Florida, it's kind of a limited filmmaking community down here. We're loud, but we're proud down here. And there's always a risk when you submit to a film festival. You never know if you'll get rejected or selected, or if you're just this close to getting in, but then it's just an honorable mention. But I was really happy to see that it got in, and especially with so many other amazing short films. And I get to speak with some of the other directors on a panel as well. So it's going to be a really nice time.
So Manny Simone is part of Queer News Tonight. He's been an anchor on here a million times. And he is sexy and sweet and talented, and he could play the piano like nobody's business. How did you make him so hard? Like, he just looked like... Wait, that's not what I meant, bodybuilder. Okay?
It's not that hard.
I saw you. It's not that hard for you, maybe, right? But like, to see Manny behind the bar as this bartender that went through this chaotic night.
It was honestly amazing, and honestly, Manny and Wayne, who played Toby, the guy who brought the grenade in, they were just incredible. When they sent their audition tapes in, I immediately casted them, essentially. I was just kind of going through all these tapes, and I was kind of talking to these two other actors that were really good, and I had callbacks with them, but then the second I got Manny and Wayne's tape in, I immediately casted them. Like, I didn't even need a callback, honestly.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're in your groove right now, Christopher? Like, what I'm saying is that, like, we just talked about Diaper Doll the other day. I'm a friend of Dana Davis.
Yeah.
She is someone that's super important to me. Her and Candace, what they've been able to do, that short film was freaking hysterical. All right. And if you had to go to the bathroom, you could hold it because it was only like 3 minutes long. Right. So you were good, Like, so are you in your vibe right now? Now you have a movie on Amazon Prime as well. Like, you're getting these out.
Yeah, just a lot of momentum going on, and I'm also working on a documentary with actually 2 documentaries. One with Dana Davis about Wilton Manors, going to be called Wilton Wins, and I'm also working on another documentary that I actually worked with a crew member from Diaper Doll. We all decided to what if we kind of follow these extras that are part of Diaper Doll and kind of explore their journeys, kind of breaking into the film industry and acting and such. So that documentary is called Extra currently, and I'm working with that. with Sam. Oh my God, what's her name? Says you guys.
She's really important. I promise.
Yeah, no, I'm just blanking out right now. But no, it's an incredible story following these four really interesting people and just kind of how they all mesh and work together trying to break in the industry. So yeah, there's just a lot of momentum going on with all these projects.
You have to ride it though. So you have to ride the momentum.
You have to ride it hard. You have to ride it real hard. That's right. I'm just going to slide you my resume right over here.
Vats. Her name was Vats. Vats.
There it is.
I got you, girl.
He remembered. But you're hitting on these poignant topics. Like Diaper Doll is about, just the ridiculousness of these bathroom bills against our trans, brothers and sisters, right? Like, that was a hit. And then now you're talking about this grenade that happened in Wilton, a couple of years ago, Like, do you watch TV news and just go, ha, I'm going to bring this to film?
Yeah, like, what made you touch on that and want to, document that? Because I've never even, heard of it until this day.
Neither have I.
So thank you for spreading that awareness. Is really important. But, what made you do that?
I think I just wanted to, firstly, kind of tell a short film anyway, because I was just fresh off of finishing Somebody to Love. And, I was kind of rumbling in my head, what's the next thing to do? And, I could have written a whole feature, but I just kind of wanted to do something small scale, something that I could shoot in 2 days. And with this story, it was perfect within that window. And I don't know, the story just really resonated with me because you just see a lot of our safe spaces, our safe queer spaces around the country always kind of under threat. And what touched me about this story was that it's kind of like the other side of the coin with mass shootings, with those, so many people die instantaneously. But with this, it's like a grenade. It's like the potential of devastation. And this man had to be talked down and diffused like he was a bomb himself, and thank goodness the grenade was a dud. It wasn't a real grenade, but no one at that bar had any idea of that.
Of course not.
They had to operate under the assumption that this was a real grenade. This man came to harm everyone and was just having a bad day, and just so many different factors going on with him. And after interviewing the folks involved, Joseph Shakespeare and Daryl Darling, you could tell that this man was dealing with not only PTSD from serving in the military, his friend passed away recently in the police force, his own internalized homophobia as well, and kind of being rejected by his gay peers, even though he may not want to admit himself what his sexual identity is. Just all these compounding factors coming together. So I just wanted to tell a story about the resiliency of our community, but also shine a light on those we might leave behind and not know.
I love that. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing your short. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think that Frag is we can all relate to something like that, right? And I think it's going to be wonderful. So please make sure that you get your tickets at OUTshineFilm.com and go see Christopher, all right? Walk that red carpet, right? What's next, Christopher?
Well, next, let's queer up education. Queer book banning is real with more than 4,000 in America. This school year, a new report from PEN America sheds light on a concerning trend in education across the United States. According to the report, there has been a dramatic escalation in book bans, with over 4,000 instances recorded in the first half of the 2023-24 school year alone. This marks a dramatic increase from the previous year and signals an unprecedented wave of censorship in public schools. These bans, spanning across 42 states, have disproportionately targeted books dealing with sexual violence, LGBTQ plus themes, and racial issues. PEN America attributes the rise of censorship efforts to the misuse of obscenity laws and inflammatory rhetoric, blaming educational materials as pornographic or inappropriate for young readers. But despite the grim outlook, resistance against these bans is growing. Students and educators and authors across the country are mobilizing and forming coalitions to challenge the bans in court and organizing public demonstrations and read-ins. In Connecticut, over 100 students marched in protest to the removal of LGBTQ plus books from their school libraries. On Tuesday, during a press call hosted by PEN America, Casey Meehan, the program director for Freedom to Read, revealed the latest discoveries from this report. Meehan clarified that these bans propelled by state legislation frequently zero in on books discussing LGBTQ plus matters and racial topics. Reagan Miller, the director of development for Florida Freedom to Read, addressed parallel concerns in Florida. It's like history kind of repeating itself over and over again, just
it's so weird, hearing it. It's can you believe, I would have never thought that, my generation would be protesting.
Yeah.
That is wild to me. Outside protesting like this book is gay. That is just mind blowing. Like, I have no words. Because it's not, I'm like,
it just seems so ridiculous.
It
doesn't seem real.
It's like watching those movies they had us watch for history classes. This is what it was like watching that. And like hearing this and seeing this, it seems like we were just like watching something from like so outdated.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is present day.
Andy, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's definitely a repeat of history. I think history always repeats itself. I will say though that there was an op-ed piece in the New York Times a few months ago and saying, it's not as bad as people think because unlike decades past, the books are more available to kids. They can go to bookstores, they can find them online. So the school library is not the only place they can find them. And I think that's the one piece of good news is that because of the internet, everything's much more available to kids. So hopefully kids will find the material they want. But I do think, people in Florida especially should know that a lot of schools just got rid of their entire libraries.
Yeah, but there's some states that are even trying to limit what kids are able to see on the internet, which will be LGBTQ plus content that will be completely eliminated for them.
Why do that when they're going to find it everywhere else?
Well, I can take your phone and do it. I can take somebody else's phone and do it.
When I was in school, we found, we just went around.
But that's the funny thing about the funny thing about parents protesting these books. Their kids are going to find them.
Either way, they're going to find it.
But this is a lot of books, over 4,000 books, right? That's incredible in 42 states. I mean, take that in, and these books, 47% of these books banned have LGBTQ plus content, right? But not all of them do, there's some Rosa Parks books that are freaking banned. I mean, that's incredibly crazy to me that this is our history and they want to erase it.
Judy Blume.
I must increase my bust.
Like, what?
That's an old school reference for all this young folk out there.
There was a movie. There was a recent movie. Shut up. But that's one of the books, Andy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's crazy. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do y'all think would be a solution to this, or like something that we can meet the schools halfway?
Well, firstly, I can't even think of an instance where book banning has ever really been a solution or something progressive to even move forward. It's always deleting history and deleting art, just in any form, is just always going to be regressive. There's nothing good about it. And I mean, thankfully, the internet does exist and people are still able to access it. But to get rid of such valuable resources, especially to the youth, who are still discovering who they are, it's unfathomable. And honestly, solution-wise is, I guess, to keep doing what we have been doing, just protesting, voting, and just going out there and just really showing up with our voices.
Well, but it's voting for the right people. It's voting for school board members. Too many people don't know that it's the local elections that are often the most important, not the national. So we have to know who's running for our school board and who to vote for.
Someone recently just gave me a card at Pride, I believe, and he was like, I'm running for school director or something. And that was my first time ever encountering someone saying that. And I really am like, if you guys need help, we will help you run your social media. We will help you run your campaigns. So because all we need is just to know about you. Like that guy telling me, I'm like, who is he? So I'm going to go do my research first.
And you do. And you have to do your research.
You got to come up to people, baby, get people to know so that we can vote for the right people. Because y'all are out there doing a lot of hard work, but it's sometimes people don't get the information. So you got to figure out how to get it out there, and people will help you get it out there so we can vote for the right people.
Listen, a great way, you can go to the Save LGBT website, right? They will give you a rundown as to who's running and if they're running for us, okay? I was that person, I'm embarrassed to say, but before Trump, right? I was one of those people that was like, okay, we have marriage equality, I'm done, right? And then Trump came into the picture and I'm like, oh my God, he's trying to erase me. I need to step up and see what's going on. I used to vote for somebody who had a black or brown last name. That was me, okay? And that's not the way to go, okay? You need to research these people, know what they stand for, know that they support us. Support the people who support us.
Period.
Right.
Bonnie, what's next, mama?
Next, let's grab entertainment. X-Men 97 creator reveals Pulse LGBTQ+ shooting was inspiration of story. Spoilers ahead. In a candid revelation, Bo DeMaio, the embattled creator of X-Men 97, has opened up about the latest episode, Remember It, drawing inspiration from real-world tragedies like Pulse nightclub. The episode, a pivotal moment in the series, saw Magneto declared leader of Genosha, only to face a tragic attack by a wild sentinel, resulting in the deaths of prominent characters like Gambit and Magneto himself, who sacrificed himself to protect others. DeMaio disclosed that episode 5 was central to his initial pitch to Marvel, aiming to reflect the evolution of viewers who grew up with the original series in the 90s. He highlighted how events like 9/11 and Pulse nightclub reshaped perceptions of safety and identity, drawing parallels between Genosha as a safe space and Pulse nightclub. Reflecting on personal experiences, DeMaio emphasized the resilience of communities impacted by tragedies and hinted at the X-Men grappling with newfound realities in an uncertain world. The upcoming episodes promise to explore themes of justice and healing in the aftermath of such profound events. Despite his dismissal from Marvel, DeMaio's insights offer a deeper understanding of the creative process behind X-Men 97. New episodes premiere on Disney Plus every Wednesday. Now, first of all, Bo, you fine as hell.
Oh,
secondly, girl, fight me. Bo, with your fine ass, thank you for what you've done for the series. You are an open queer man. Open man, well, you can't be open man of color because you just be black. Yeah. But thank you for being who you are and doing what you're doing and contributing to this story. I can hear your voice as I watch the series, and I'm a huge fan of the series. I watch it every Wednesday. Actually, I'm wearing my Rogue jacket today.
Oh, I love that.
That's it. If you go to my Instagram at bonniebuilder.com, you'll see I've been doing some X-Men related performances, so go check her out. So, Bo, I'm a huge fan of this story that you continued on from the 97 series. And yes, the last episode, for those who've seen it, it was so heavy for so many reasons. But to watch the final action sequence was so heart-wrenching for so many reasons. Because you felt like, how are they going to escape this tragedy? I felt a similar feeling when there was an episode of American Horror Story, and they did a school shooting episode. It's like, if I'm in that situation and all hope is lost, what do you do?
What would you do?
You're fearful. You're scared from every which way there's a threat. Like, what do you do? And he drew that and made it part of this incredible series, and I thank you so much, Bo, for doing that. Now, I also know that my good girl, Christopher right here, is also a big fan. So what you think?
Big. Yeah. Enlighten that.
So both of you watched, right? Yes. So both of you watched.
Okay,
so Bo was part of Marvel, and then he got fired from there.
For being too sexy.
What?
No, I'm kidding. Well, technically. So he had, allegedly, Bo had an OnlyFans, and that was the reason he was dismissed from continuing with the series.
Okay,
but they need to be...
We have receipts to back.
I follow his Twitter. He doesn't post it anymore.
Yeah.
But like they need to bring him back because like he's doing such an incredible job with the series, and without him and other creators part of the show, like it's not going to be as good. I can tell you this much: he's had such a heavy hand in creating the show, and it's been incredible because of that. So Bo, please come back and tell these stories. Bring back Bo's fine ass.
Bo. Christopher, what do you think, Papa?
Oh my God! Well, I was absolutely gutted watching that episode.
Magneto's dead.
Yes, Faye, he is.
Yeah.
No, I'm late to the party. I'm just telling you.
He was the guy with the metal helmet, and he controls metal and such like that.
But
the guy from Star Trek.
No.
Wasn't that the bald guy from Star Trek
That was
who played
Professor
him in X-Men?
Xavier.
Oh, okay, they're all the
He also died, though.
Oh no! All kinds of spoilers alert today. I'm so far behind, Andy.
Well, we're trying to catch
watch
up.
the current episode.
I am. So you said about another series that had touched on something like that, right? And I also remember when Queer as Folk, the reboot, right? They opened up their show with also a similar nightclub scene where people weren't happy. People stopped supporting the show, because they just could not see that in that light. The same thing won't happen with this, you don't think?
No, and honestly, personally, I think this is one of the best shows or media ever that Marvel has put out so far, because it just touches on what is so core to the X-Men, and they have always represented the civil rights movement and the queer movement, and people like calling, X-Men is woke now. Mama, X-Men has always been woke.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
And just the way that Bo crafted this episode and just the series in general, and just kind of showcasing how we as a world move forward in such horrible tragedies that just kind of happen just way too often, and always attacking our safe spaces. And I even found out that Bo was a regular at Pulse nightclub. So that's just another aspect of his identity that was impactful to him and also this story writing process.
And this is also very similar to your film, Frag, where you really used your artistry to really speak on the tragedy that happened just in our own community. So there's a way to have like handsome queer men creating these stories so that we can learn about them. Yeah. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. Andy, what do you think about this?
I can't say that I've seen this series, so it's hard to comment, but I always thought the movies were really terrific about inclusiveness and showing that even those of like kind are always not good to each other.
That's right.
So I think the X-Men has always been really important for our community.
Definitely. Chris, what's next, baby?
Alrighty, let's do it. I thought we were going to talk more about.
Could I say one more thing, actually, regarding Gambit and Magneto's death? Specifically Gambit, though. Because Bo said that, he designed the first few episodes to be very nostalgic and show Gambit in his sexy little crop top. Just all of us falling in love with him. And then even, like, him kind of breaking things off with Rogue and then maybe not. And just kind of, hey, like, where's his story going to go? Only to see it cut short. That's, kind of reality too. Sometimes promising stories and promising lives are cut short. So again, Bo, you did an amazing job.
Y'all sold me.
Bring Bo back! Bring Bo back! Bring Bo back!
Oh, you like girls?
Call me. We're going to fight it. But next, let's queer up politics. DeSantis signs law limiting school library book challenge. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill aimed at limiting challenges to library books and other educational materials, responding to over 1,200 objections filed during the previous school year. A quarter of all book challenges in America are in Florida. They most often over LGBTQ plus themes and not by parents or students in Florida schools. The legislation restricts challenges to materials by non-parents or guardians. This wide-ranging bill, known as HB 1285, not only addresses book challenges, but also includes provisions to facilitate charter schools taking over operations at failing traditional public schools. The move to limit challenges follows heightened scrutiny of library books and classroom materials in the wake of measures approved by the Republican-controlled legislature and Governor DeSantis. According to a Senate staff analysis, over half of the 1,218 books objections during the 2022 and 2023 school year were concentrated in Clay and Escambia counties in the very conservative Florida Panhandle. Consequently, 186 books were removed in these two counties alone as a result of the objections. Under the new bill, individuals residing in the county who are not parents or guardians of students with access to school district materials are limited to objecting to one material per month. Governor DeSantis remarked during a recent event that individuals who filed numerous objections to books had undermined the process and called it a mockery. Talking about the traditional schools that failed to perform, the newly signed bill will expedite the conversion process by imposing deadlines on districts to finalize charter contracts. Schools transitioning to charters must have contracts executed by October 1st of the subsequent school year, with charter organizations assuming full operational control by July. Charter schools taking over the public schools, including with the book thing, but wait. So they're just gonna come in if the district doesn't if this public school is performing lowly.
Which they are if it's Florida.
Right, and it's a public school. So the charter school would just immediately take over the students and the staff?
Well, I don't think it's quite that easy a process, but a charter school could come in and make a proposal and say, we're going to start running this school. But it's all about money.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
And the charter schools are popping up everywhere, and they're really not making a big difference when it comes to education.
No, and there's these big companies that run the charter schools, and it's all about profit for them. They don't really care about, and the charter schools aren't doing any better than the public schools in terms of test scores.
Jeez. Okay. So let me get this straight. So basically, Ron DeSantis is saying that Mr. Smith in Opelika, right, doesn't like a book. He has no children in the school system, but he doesn't like a book because it has racial themes in it, right? He can no longer fill out this paper saying that they should take this book out.
Or he can only do one.
One a month. One a month. He should get one a month.
A month.
So he's only allowed to do it once a
Yeah.
month.
Y'all, these people are crazy.
And there are some losers out there with a lot of free time who will do that
Yeah.
once
We'll
a
do that.
month.
We'll
Only
do that.
one
Okay.
book per month.
Yes, okay. And most of the books that are banned are LGBTQ plus themed or about sex education or about racial themes that are things that kids need to learn about.
Exactly.
But it's also about, I think, silencing our voices because many of us don't have kids in the school system.
Right.
So we're also limited to those protests.
Once a month?
So
We're
annoying.
once a month.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And the law is written just vague enough that there's the opportunity to exploit it even further. Kind of similarly to how the drag ban laws were written.
Or
you
don't
know.
say gay, that was written very vaguely.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I mean, and again, the names of these bills, when they say Protect Our Children Act, who's going to say, no, I'm against that? It's that very vague wording that messes a lot of things up.
And once
especially when
again,
it comes to this.
the conservative administration created a monster that started eating on itself. So DeSantis' dumbass had to go back and be like, no, that's not what I meant. You can still do it, but like reel it in a little bit because people, it started getting
Y'all
used against
making
him.
a mockery when that actually is just mockery.
You're making a mockery of the mockery, yes.
I don't get it. It
Okay.
makes absolute no sense.
So, okay, I don't want religious people to get all mad at me. But so again, once a month, I can literally say, hey, you should take the Bible out of the library because I don't think that, it has a lot of sexual undertones and it doesn't really represent us how it should. And I can do that.
you can do that.
That's
Work.
Yeah.
It's work.
slay, wig.
All right. We're in Florida. Pray for us.
Yeah.
Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Queer theater and how Island City Stage delivers. Oh, I've been waiting for this story. I'm so glad. So tonight we're diving into the heart of the art scene in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and we shine a spotlight on Island City Stage, a theater with a mission to give voice to the rich tapestry of LGBTQ plus stories. Founded in 2012, this professional theater has become a beacon of inclusivity, offering a platform for narratives that resonate with love, loss, struggle, and humor. At the helm of this transformative theater is Andy Rogow, the executive director whose passion for storytelling and dedication to authenticity have propelled Island City Stage to new heights. The theater is known for its commitment to presenting works that speak to the universal human experience while celebrating the diversity of the LGBTQ plus community. From thought-provoking dramas to side-splitting comedies, Island City Stage delivers performances that captivate audiences and foster dialogue. With a roster of talented artists boasting credits from Broadway to TV, each production comes to life with unparalleled skill and nuance. As we delve deeper into the creative vision behind Island City Stage, we're privileged to have Andy Rogow as an anchor at Queer News Tonight. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for all you do. First of all, 2020 when the pandemic hit, nobody was hit more than the arts and nonprofit organization, right? You guys are everywhere right now. You're everything, everywhere, all at once, kind of like the movie, right? Everyone that I run into has seen a play over at Island City, is going to a play over at Island City, or is excited about a play coming to Island City. Did you think that during the pandemic that you would be so fruitful right now?
We didn't know what to think for part of it, but we were one of the first theaters in the entire region actually that started performing live during the pandemic, with very limited audiences and distance. But I thought it would take us much longer to come back than it has. It really only took us about 2 years to get back to where we had been pre-pandemic. And we're just about there now. So it's really great that we're there. And what's interesting is since the pandemic too, we have a very unique region in the fact that there's not just us, but there's the Foundry next door to us and Empire Stage, which is just down the street from us, all doing mostly LGBT work. There is no other city in the country that has that.
That's amazing.
Not even New York, LA, nobody. Only us.
I love that. I love that.
So it just shows the strength of our community.
Well, and something that I'm loving is the inclusivity, okay? And every time that somebody is interviewed from Island City, that's something that they always touch base on, Like, I'm excited that you have Pulp there right now, and it's a lesbian-themed play, So, we need more representation. How did that come to pass?
So, well, first, let me just say how both strange and wonderful it is to be on this stage because Island City was born out of the demise of another theater company that performed where we are right now in this
Damn.
Oh my
in
God.
this chapel.
You better work.
So I have to be honest, when I started Island City, it was because community members asked me to, because they wanted to have an LGBTQ theater in the community. There wasn't one at the time, and I didn't really know what that meant, but I knew that we had to serve everybody in the community, not just the gay white men that are the majority. And we are, still the only theater, I think, that really does try to serve all of our community by telling all the stories. So the first thing I said is, we're not going to do stories that are just have gratuitous sex, because I think that's what a lot of people thought gay theater was.
That's what Ronnie does. So
Ronnie does that sometimes.
So he's got that.
And he has that market, and he does it
And he
very
does
well.
really well.
He does it very well. But that was not what we wanted to do. I really did want to tell stories, and felt that the community, that's what they wanted, was to see themselves reflected on stage. So those are the stories we look at.
Well, and you really do have an iconic array of plays. Okay, some of the ones that I've seen. Okay, Love, Valor, Compassion. Okay, that was awesome. I saw the Christmas Carol there. All right. Okay, I saw Thrill Me, and now I'm going to see Pulp this weekend. We need a trans representative play.
Well, we did a trans play last year called Rotterdam.
Nice.
That was about a lesbian couple in which one of them decided that she was going to transition. And
oh my God, I saw it. Yes, it was like a British undertone or something.
Yes, they were from England, living in Rotterdam.
Yes.
So we've done that. We did a play about the Black HIV experience called 1 and 2. In fact, the director of that play won a Carbonell Award that year for Best Director of a Play.
Nice.
So we really do try. But I will say, just to start some conversation, it also demonstrates to me that we have our own issues, that we are, as an LGBTQ community, we are not always together, right? Because we have a much harder time selling tickets to the things that are about the Black community or about the trans community. We still have work to do in encouraging people to experience all the stories of our community.
And we're all evolving and still learning. Andy.
Right.
So, I think that's a wonderful thing. You received a grant recently from the Wilton Foundation,
We
right?
did.
A considerable grant. What can we see that's going to come out of that?
So it was one of the biggest, I think, cultural grants the county's ever seen. It was $250,000.
Cha-ching! Cha-ching!
Baby,
So
that's a new way.
we're partnering with two other theaters, Gable Stage, which is located down in Coral Gables, and Brevo Theater, which is a relatively new Black theater company, young Black company. And we're doing this play called Fat Ham. It was the Pulitzer Prize winner in 2022. And it is a take on Hamlet with a Black family at a barbecue in South Carolina.
Oh my God, I'm there for it.
It's very funny. It's a really terrific play. It was on Broadway last year, nominated for a bunch of Tony Awards. So that's what that grant is for. So we're going to be doing 5 weeks at our theater next April, and then it'll move down to Gable Stage in Coral Gables. So we'll play a total of 10 weeks. Plays here never run that long, but it will give a chance for as many audience members around the Bi-County region to see the play. And we hope to increase the kinds of audience members that we get. We're going to have a barbecue every Sunday after the show. We're going to do a lot
Bonnie can
associated
grill.
with it.
She knows how
Can
to
you?
barbecue.
Oh, you
Grill.
know what? That's
I
Trying to get you a gig.
I can eat. I can throw candy. I figure it out. I figure it out.
So Andy, at the end of May, kicking off Pride Month, I'm going to be hosting an event called Take Pride from History Fort Lauderdale, right? And I'll be hosting it, but you are one of the honorees that evening.
I was very.
Thank you so much for your work, for your support, for your advocacy, for your activism, because that's what you're doing over there at Island City. You really are.
Thank you. Well, it was really honored to be recognized, especially for Pride Month. I'm really, really thrilled.
I'm gonna give you a big ass hug on stage.
Okay, I will look forward to that.
Just remember that.
Yeah.
Christopher, I wanted to ask you, have you ever wanted to maybe make one of your short films into a stage experience? Because it's two completely different worlds, obviously, but you all started at the same place, with sitting down and writing something out,
Yeah.
Would you ever?
That's interesting because so many of my actors from Somebody to Love, my feature film, most of them were theater actors first because I pulled from Florida State University's theater department. And they all had worked to a degree with theater, but very little and minimally with film. So I know how theater actors work. I know how their brain works, and kind of having to transition them into film was an interesting challenge. And for some, it was a breeze, and for others, they needed a little bit of work. So, yeah, but
it's a completely different style, right?
Yeah.
Because, on stage, you have to be playing to people who are far away from you. When you've got the camera right here, it's a very different way of acting.
Yeah.
And you really have to be conscious of what's happening on your face when you're on film.
Yeah.
That's a challenge because so many of my stories, I feel like, are very emotive, and yes, there's a lot of dialogue involved, but I feel like for me, like, the language of film is so important because how the shot is composed tells
The
story.
cinematography tells the
Yeah.
story.
Exactly. So
Completely.
with a play, you could, like, in theory, maybe I could, like, transition, but I
Hey,
have to
Andy's
think-
right here.
Collaboration.
Andy, thank you so much for all you do, honestly.
Thank you.
The arts, that the gays, we love the arts. We live for the arts. We breathe for the arts. And to have something locally, because that's something that, as a kid, I grew up in Jersey, so I would cut school and go to Broadway, right? That's what I would do. I'm that queer kid, right? And people here didn't have that until Island City, until Wilton stages, until all of that came to pass. And it's all right there in one little area. Get your tickets now, okay? Because it's going to be an incredible season. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As a nonprofit LGBTQ plus media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza. Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Next, we are proud
of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church located here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up the world view. Will Iraq pass same-sex acts death penalty? Here's what we know. Iraqi lawmakers have delayed voting on a controversial bill imposing harsh penalties for same-sex relations, including the death penalty or life imprisonment. The measure, part of an amendment to an anti-prostitution law, stirred concerns among Western diplomats over the potential fallout on Iraq's political and economic ties if enacted. The proposed law targets not only same-sex relations, but also the promotion of homosexuality, with violators facing at least 7 years in prison. Diplomats from Western countries have urged against the passing of the bill, citing human rights and diplomatic complications amid Iraq's efforts to rebuild international relations. Will Iraq pass this hateful law? Queer News Tonight will follow this developing story closely.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up sports. Queer MMA fighter Jessica Andrade has the greatest win record in history. In a historic moment for the LGBTQ+ community and the world of mixed martial arts, Jessica Andrade has clinched the title for the woman with the most wins in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Andrade, an openly lesbian fighter, secured this milestone during her recent match in Las Vegas, Nevada at UFC 300. The judges' scorecards read 28-29, 29-29, and 29-28 in favor of Andrade, solidifying her against Marina Rodriguez. This victory not only marks Andrade's second consecutive win, but also her 17th overall win within the UFC. Currently, Andrade is the only woman to win in 3 distinct weight classes in UFC history. Her achievement highlights the importance of LGBTQ+ representation in sports.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. Jessica Reimers becomes new ED of World AIDS Museum. Today, the World AIDS Museum and Educational Center has introduced Jessica Reimers as its new executive director. Her leadership experience and a steadfast commitment to HIV/AIDS advocacy will steer the museum into a new chapter of education and awareness. Bringing over 3 decades of leadership experience in both education and government, Reimers offers a distinctive international perspective to her role. In an effort to support the museum's endeavors, until the end of April, all contributions made to the museum will be matched dollar for dollar. In a statement released, Reimers says, quote, "My personal mission is to continue to empower others with anyone who will listen and advocate with intention," end quote. For further details and ways to support WHAM, you can visit worldaidsmuseum.org.
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Hold yourselves, as Jonathan Bailey and Colman Domingo may be stars of Jurassic World movie. Heartthrob Jonathan Bailey is on the brink of a dino-sized breakthrough, eyed for a lead role in the next Jurassic World installment. Snubbing series regulars like Chris Pratt, this fresh take could also see the absence of Laura Dern. Bailey's appearance at CinemaCon in a glittery blue top sparked frenzy, hinting at his imminent stardom. But hold on to your seats. There are rumors of Dave Patel and Colman Domingo potentially joining the franchise, with Domingo tipped to play the villain. Queer-baited or not, the prospect of Bailey, Patel, and Domingo sharing the screen is leaving the fans clamoring for more. We can't wait to hear "Must Go Faster."
LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Cartoon Bluey introduces a queer family for the first time. Bluey, the beloved Australian children's show, has subtly acknowledged LGBTQ+ representation in its season 3 finale, which aired this week. While the episode primarily focused on Bluey's family moving and a wedding, it quietly introduced diversity with Bluey's friend Frentzel, mentioning his 2 moms when discussing his pet guinea pig. The mention passes in a flash, but with some kids having 2 moms, this matters a lot. This last episode, named The Sign, has received an average score of 9.9 out of 10 from nearly 1,000 users' ratings on IMDb. So, can we just say it is the sign of acceptance for queer families?
Yes. That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of a very large television viewing audience? This live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, Christopher Frentzel, Christopher Mitchell, and Andy Rogow. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you good night.
Good night.
Buenas noches.